Hello students, welcome you all for the online learning session. Standard 8th, Subject Geography, Chapter number 3, Humidity and Clouds. Now we will learn about different weather conditions in different areas. Now see, we keep on talking about the weather conditions. We can identify the weather conditions through the given pictures. We experience the dampness or dryness in the air throughout the year. The words hot, moist, cool, etc. show the condition of the air. They relate to the content of the moisture in the air. Moisture in the air is always invisible, but it is the measure component of air which is taken into consideration while discussing the weather of any place. For precipitation to occur in any place, presence of moisture in the air is very important. Now here the word precipitation means the action or process of precipitating a substance from a solution. Next topic, evaporation. Evaporation is the process of converting water into steam or water vapor. That is, evaporation happens when a liquid substance, that is water vapor or water, becomes a gas. When water is heated, it evaporates, correct? We can see the process of evaporation depends on the dryness of air, the temperature, the speed of wind. So, evaporation is very important part of the water cycle. Heat from the sun or solar energy powers the evaporation process. It soaks up moisture from soil in the garden as well as the biggest ocean and lakes. Water level will decrease as it is exposed to the heat of the sun. For example, we can take about salt pans. How evaporation helped in salt formation? When water is evaporated into the air, it forms or goes into, you can say, clouds and then returns in the form of precipitation. Now this is what is called as water cycle. When oceans salt water evaporates, the salt in the water is left in the water. This causes salt water to become heavily laden with salt. Now let us study the factors affecting rate of evaporation. Now see, first, dryness of air. If the dryness of air is less, the rate of evaporation is less. And if the dryness of air is more, the evaporation is more. Similarly, with the temperature. If it is less, evaporation is normally less, and if the temperature is more, evaporation is more. With the speed of wind, if the wind blows with less speed, then evaporation is less, whereas if it blows fast or more, the rate of evaporation is more. Now, overall, we understand if the air is dry and hot, the rate of evaporation increases. Now see, the process of evaporation continues even in cold area. On the other hand, evaporation occurs very slowly in moist area. If the velocity and temperature of the air is high, then evaporation occurs rapidly. If the wind is blowing slowly, the air is cooler, then evaporation occurs slowly. Next, humidity in the air. The word humidity derives from the Latin word humor, which means to be moist. So humidity is used to describe the water containing in the air. The proportion of water vapor in the air is called humidity. The dryness or dampness of the air depends on the proportion of water vapor. Now, what is moisture holding capacity of the air? The capacity of the air to hold water vapor is called moisture holding capacity. Moisture. that is a small amount of liquid that cause dampness. Warmer air moisture holding capacity is comparatively more. On the other hand, cold air's moisture holding capacity is comparatively low. The condition of air at a certain temperature, which the moisture holding of air becomes equal to the proportion of moisture present in it, is called saturation of the air. Now, what is saturation of the air? It means the air that contains the maximum amount of water vapor that is possible at the given temperature and pressure, that is in which the relative humidity is 100%. Now, how do you know whether the air is saturated? A state of saturation exists when the air is holding the maximum amount of water vapor possible at existing temperature and pressure. When the dew point temperature and air temperature are equal, it is said to be saturated. Now, before we talk about absolute humidity and relative humidity, let us recapture with the term humidity. The proportion of water vapor in the air is called its humidity. Absolute humidity and relative humidity are just phase of representing a moisture contained in the air. Now first, what is absolute humidity? The amount of water vapor in 1 cubic meter of air is called the absolute humidity. Generally, humidity of the air is measured in grams per cubic meter. The distribution of land and water on earth and the seasons affect absolute humidity. Now, formula to find out absolute humidity is equal to mass of water vapor upon volume of air. Here, for example, the absolute humidity of the air near the coastal areas is higher than the air in the interior. So the absolute humidity, it is higher in the equatorial region, but it reduces as we move towards the pole. Next, relative humidity. The amount of water vapor present in air can be expressed as a percentage of the amount needed for saturation at the same time, temperature and same volume. It is expressed in percentage. The change in temperature of the air leads to change in moisture holding capacity of the air. This in turn leads to change in the relative humidity of the air. A reading of 100% relative humidity means that air is totally saturated with water vapor and cannot hold any more, that is creating the possibility to rain. This doesn't mean that the relative humidity must be 100% only in order to rain. It must be 100% where the clouds are forming, but the relative humidity near the ground would be much less. As I told you, relative humidity is the amount of water vapor present in the air, and it can be expressed as percentages of the amount needed for saturation at the same temperature and the same volume. The formula for relative humidity is equal to absolute humidity upon vapor holding capacity multiplied by 100. Now the instrument used to measure the amount of water vapor in air in soil. Most instruments respond to or they are calibrated to read relative humidity, which is the amount of water relative to the maximum at a particular temperature expressed as percent. There are few more pictures of hygrometers. As I told you that thermometer is used to measure temperature and hygrometers are used to measure humidity in the air. Now what is a hygrometer? Hygrometers are considered to be weather instruments that can measure humidity. Over the centuries, these instruments have changed, advanced and have taken different varieties to suit the user's need. Here, to understand how to use hygrometers, it helps to know when and where we can use a hygrometer. It is an essential instrument in metallurgical science. It has numerous commercial uses, but the primary purpose of the device is to measure the amount of water vapor, that is the humidity in the air. So this was all about evaporation, humidity in the air, absolute humidity, relative humidity, then hygrometer. So in the further lecture, we will be learning about condensation, then you can say sublimation and densification. Thank you.